Okay. All right, guys, y'all ready?
So,
All right, let's
yes,
get it.
sir.
Attendees are now coming in. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and go to my website, click that link on the Meeting of the Minds, and hover over that top of that Meeting of the Minds link, and go right to where it says official Zoom link. Click that link, and then it will take you directly into our Zoom meeting, so you can be an interactive piece in this. Let me go ahead and just unmute everybody. All right. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody who's in attendance, no matter where you are, whether you are here with us in the Zoom call, interacting with us live, whether you're here on Instagram, or just a part of the participation, supporting me as a brand, supporting us as a movement. It means the world. So without further ado, let me introduce myself. My name is Morgan Kelly Saunders. I am a multifaceted mogul, photographer, director, video editor, creative head. I've been doing my field for the last 10 years, and I do pride. What else we got here? We have my man Wille, we have Tevin, and we have Keon, and we're gonna go ahead and break down some of just the agenda of what Meeting of the Minds is and what we represent. So first and foremost, Meeting of the Minds is a leadership organization geared towards fueling the flame of systematic reform. With all the recent events, Floyd, just the light of racism in the workplace, it's come to the attention of everyone that change is needed. Change has been needed, and we are now at a point in time where we can act on it. And it's so much in our face that we need to act on it. So we're here to provide the proper information and the tools to you guys, the public, on how we can go about that change the proper and correct way, to at least, not just to affect us, but generations to come. So steps that would go into that direction of systematic reform would be things such as just sharing information and other organizations like us who are moving in this direction. There's plenty of them that I met in LA that are about systematic reform, who protest, who are hosting all these different things. We need to start interlocking with everybody. We need to start giving the information of, hey, there's this event going on where they're collecting petitions, or hey, there's this event going on where we're trying to get a group of people together to go up to our town hall and have a meeting with one of our city representatives. Another important step, of course, would be holding ourselves accountable, because to execute something of that matter, we would need to hold our peers and ourselves in a position of execution. So, holding ourselves accountable, emphasizing voter representation. With the elections coming up, of the 4-year election, there's also a 2-year election that we need to stay aware about, and getting the proper information, making sure that our voter registration is up to date as well. As another important point that we stand on is circulating the dollar amongst our businesses, our Black-owned businesses, and representatives in our community. And then lastly is participating in the petitions and donations that we have going on around the United States. I know there's, with the Breonna Taylor, there was petitions going on of trying to find her murderers. When the Floyd thing happened, there was a big petition going around saying that we should reopen the case of Sandra Bland, who passed away in Hempstead, in Houston. So the act of petitions and participating in donations is a big factor, because it shows that there's a collective of people actually standing and fighting for a simple cause, even if your representative or someone in a higher position may have not have known. So to get more into that, let me introduce everybody to my man Keon, where he was going to go into more information about how we can participate and act on petitions and donations going on in our country. So my man Keon, come to the stage.
Appreciate that, Morgan, as I walk onto the stage. Oh man, my name is Keon Martin, based out of Los Angeles, California. Originally from Texas, born and raised. I've kind of bounced around the country a little bit. Overall, I work for one of the tech companies. I oversee the Southwest region, so California, Phoenix, Las Vegas. In addition to that, I've done public speaking at universities and schools. I've traveled the country just meeting people of like similar mindsets, people who are like young entrepreneurs, people who of minority, people who want to see the change across the country. So kind of as Morgan touched on, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about petitions and donations. The first thing is first, petitions, right? So just kind of giving like a brief explanation of what a petition is basically a formal request for action. Most commonly addressed to a government official, public entity, but not just to those people as well. It could be to pretty much anybody, anything, right? Any corporation. It can be physical, it can be virtual. A lot of the ones you see now are more of the like the e-petitions or the internet petitions. You sign those online. After you get enough signatures, usually there's a letter or email sent to whoever is the subject of that petition. Once that's completed, then it starts more of the litigation process. On the later slides, you're going to see where you can actually find petitions and sign up for different kind, and we'll kind of talk about that too. All right, the next thing will be donations, right? So donations are something that are just important as petitions. I would say petitions help get the ball rolling, and donations kind of help speed up the process. So there are different types of donations. You can donate your time, you can donate your money, you can donate your resources, right? When it comes down to time, you can volunteer, you can protest, you can support community initiatives. You can find people, whether they're in your community or other communities, that need someone to support them and what they have going on. And you can just give some of your time, right? Time is super important. Time is something that you can't give back. So by giving time and supporting other people, you can help push the agenda and be able to help other people get to the dream or whatever goal they're trying to reach. When it comes down to money, money is the next type of donation. We know the world revolves around money. So donating to charities, nonprofits, community groups, or organizations, it's a list of places that you can donate your money to. The biggest thing is just, I would always say, is just find a group or find a organization or a community leader that you stand behind and donate that to your money to. That way you're help supporting, right? And I'm going to get more into why it's important for that. For resources, right? So resources, you can donate supplies, talent, skills, equipment, or essential items. Also, a lot of people don't think about this in travel accommodations, right? And this goes back into the money aspect. So when it comes down to your donations, whenever there's any type of movement, all movements require some type of petition to get going, and they also require some type of donation, right? So if you're in a community that has a need for nurses or has a need for other educators or has a need for legal observers, if you have one of those skill sets, you can donate those resources that you have. If you have supplies like water or other essential items, those are something that you can donate as well. I know when I did a couple of protests in LA, they had people on the sidelines giving out water and Gatorade, right? And it was super helpful to have that as you walk, because you're walking, you're marching, it's hot, you're trying to stay hydrated. It's super important to have that. So it was really cool. When it comes down to equipment and skills, that can be literally anything that you may have that you feel may help support the cause or the goal. That's something that you can work with your local leaders or the community organizations or the groups. You can work with them and you can find out what they need. And if you can help provide that, then for sure provide that. So as we get into the next slide, it's about the petitions, right? So a lot of people ask where to find petitions. You can find petitions in a lot of different places. One site that has a lot of petitions there, where you can find a lot of active petitions, would be change.org. On that website, there's a long list of different petitions that are currently active. You can check that weekly, you can check that monthly. It's completely up to you, but just read into each petition. You know, if you support it, then sign and show your support. When it comes down to the next place to find a petition, local community leaders, right? The local leaders in your community are the people on the front lines who are out here creating the petitions, getting these signatures, or either on hard copy or telling people where to go to find the petition online. So those are two places right there I feel like are very key where you can find petitions. An example of active petitions right now are three that are very popular that everybody's signing. Is the Justice for Breonna Taylor, the Justice for George Floyd, the Justice for Ahmaud Arbery. We're going to have a lot of these links and some of the stuff in the slide today. We're going to have those posted in the highlights of the Meeting of the Minds Instagram page. So you'll be able to see those later. But we're going to get to the next slide. We're going to talk about donations. So donations, like the big question is where to donate, right? Search and reach out to your local leaders, organizations, and community groups. Volunteering your time at local food banks and shelters. Right now, there are so many food banks who need food or just need volunteers, right? I know right after they had the burnings of the buildings in Minnesota, there was such a big need for volunteers, and there was such a big need for food because they had so many food banks and so many people without food. So those are just some examples of how that can be important. Support your local protests, right? If you see a protest in your area, whether you're checking Eventbrite, Facebook groups, things like that, if you see some protests in your area that you think will be, that you think are something that you can stand behind, you can support, go out and support your local protests. Again, donating money to charities, GoFundMe's, nonprofit organizations, community centers, and et cetera. Providing resources to groups in need of people with special talents and skills. It is also something great that you can do. For example, like legal observers. They have people who are lawyers who go out and they observe protests. And if someone is getting arrested or anything like that, they can legally observe it and then they can help defend you in the court of law. Groups actively fighting for change. You can also donate to them. For example, Black Lives Matter, NAACP, different groups within victim memorial funds and bail funds. Those types of groups would be like the National Bailout Association. The National Bailout is a group that you can donate to. The Bail Project. You can look those up and find out more information about those. And of course, they have memorial funds as well. For example, that would be like the George Floyd Memorial Fund, the I Run with Maud Fund, and the Justice for Breonna Taylor Fund. Right. Again, these people are traveling the country. The leaders of these organizations are traveling the country. They're going from city to city. They're raising awareness. They're having these protests. And, it takes money to fly places. It takes money to stay in places. It takes money to eat. So the people who are on the front lines of this, we want to support them. We want to give them the resources they need, whether that be time, money, or whatever needs they may have. So a note I put here at the bottom, always remember, do your research and see where your time, money, and resources are going. Don't just blindly give to anybody or just blindly support anybody. Always do that before supporting any organization or group. The next thing that we're going to talk about is something that I feel like a lot of people should do a lot more of, and that's supporting Black business. So Wale is going to come in and talk about that.
And I appreciate that Uki. My name is Will Arnold, also known as DJ Wale. I'm a DJ, producer, clothing brand owner, nonprofit founder, and overall man of God. And so today, I just want to get into the importance of Black-owned businesses and supporting them and circulating our Black dollar within our communities. Before I get started, I want to pose a question, and Morgan, you can make this a poll for the people. I'm I'm gonna just present some information and then I want y'all to guess. The lifespan of a dollar in the Asian community is 28 days. In the Jewish community, is 19 days. I want y'all to take a guess at how long the lifespan of a dollar is in the African American community. And y'all can take y'all time on that. I'm not certain how the poll is going to work, but by the time it shows up, I'll be able to answer the question. And so, again, I want to emphasize the importance of circulating the black dollar. A great book that I read that gave me the insight to understand what we need to do and how we need to evoke change is called Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. In it, a good quote from it that basically sums it up is: consumer activism goes beyond boycotting a company or a brand, but also entails buying from and investing in Black-owned businesses. With that being said, because our aim is to spread love and support through the actual businesses that our black people are running, I want to urge that we try not to write off the Black-owned businesses that we encounter and try to support. If the aim is to actually support them, then do so through constructive criticism. Try not to write them off. These are young, motivated people who don't necessarily even have life figured out. So let alone they wouldn't know how to run a business. When you encounter them and they're not necessarily up to par with other businesses that you used to support, just give them words of advice and try not to write them off. Something that I want to touch on as far as Black-owned businesses and pertaining to what we would ask for when it's time to be represented by the people that we vote for is we want to request 14 to 15% shelf space from major retailers like Walmart, Target, and such. And that's because we're not in those spaces. But because we're not in those spaces and we got to work to it, I want to introduce a couple platforms that are specifically geared towards giving us that space. And those two platforms are Melanoid Exchange and WeBuyBlack.com. Melanoid Exchange is an e-commerce website that you can set up your store on with free, as a Black-owned business with free service, basically. I want to urge any Black-owned businesses to join it. I myself own an apparel line that has definitely seen growth from it. How long does the black dollar last? I'm gonna go ahead and vote. I don't know if y'all seen that, but I was cheating for essentially the black dollar only lasts 6 hours in our community compared to 19 days and 28 days in the Asian community and in the Jewish community. And so we absolutely have to change that narrative if we want to see any success from our people, within our people. And it starts with just knowing where to shop. And so even through Melanoid Exchange, there are investment opportunities if you're not a Black-owned business that you can buy stock into Melanoid Exchange. I myself have bought $100 worth of stock into it, and it's a multi-million-dollar company just waiting to reap the benefits. And so yeah, definitely look into that. We'll have extra information on how to get in contact with those people. We also have WeBuyBlack.com. That is another directory of Black-owned businesses that you can shop for essentials like toothbrushes and soap and hand sanitizer and you name it. It's more than likely on WeBuyBlack.com. As we move forward to the things that don't necessarily have businesses attached to them, but are still things that we have to have in this society, as far as cars, houses, where we bank. Do your research on where to find those. There are car dealerships that are Black-owned. There are banks and credit unions that are Black-owned, and there are private equity investors that are Black-owned. We have some links for them in this slideshow, and we'll be able to provide those later as well. As I get into the next section, I just want to touch on the actual cities that myself and my counterparts represent, being Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Los Angeles. And we're just going to point out some restaurants, local farmers markets, and other businesses that you can support if you live in these cities. Here's some links to some directories for Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio, respectively, that give you just Google Docs and Excel spreadsheets of Black-owned businesses you can support. Here's a cool little slide that gives us insight on Black-owned businesses in Dallas. Services include print shops and photographers, fitness, pest control, grocery delivery, construction, and bookstores. A list of Black-owned restaurants include Dessert Seafood American, Ethiopian, Southern Vegan Barbecue Jamaican, and Black-owned Beauty and Spa as well. Next city we have is San Antonio. Some of the services provided in San Antonio include arts and galleries, beauty and spas, dental and healthcare, fitness, child care development, marketing, public relation, publications. We got Black-owned restaurants, Black-owned shops and makers, and other Black-owned businesses. And again, we will have these images available in our highlights on our Instagram page to give you more of a good place to tap back in with this. Next city is Los Angeles. We have Black-owned apparel businesses in Los Angeles, just regular businesses that include interior design, home decor, gardening, furniture, glassware, Black-owned beauty supplies, and Black-owned food businesses. Here is a list of essentials that we probably don't even think are provided by Black people that I found through WeBuyBlack.com. They include toothbrushes, bandages, batteries, detergent, and dish soap. There's their information on there, but you can also tap in with WeBuyBlack.com to get in contact with them. Also, we have some texts that you can read that are impactful, anti-racism, some mental health resources and platforms for and by Black men. Those are their Instagram handles, and then Black-owned bookstores to buy from in cities like Decatur, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, Michigan, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and the Bronx and Brooklyn. Again, we're going to touch on some Black-owned restaurants in San Antonio, Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, and in August, and we'll have those available after the fact. Now we're going to get into the next section of a component that we see needs to happen to evoke change. My counterpart, Tevin Ellis, will be introducing the importance of knowing your elected representatives and voter representation.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the log, Mr. Leve. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tevin Ellis. I am a native of San Antonio, Texas. Recently finished my first term as a national board member for the NAACP at the age of 26, looking for many more years with that. I am an activist and an organizer in nature. So that is a part of what I'm coming to talk to some of you guys about today. If you can go on to the next screen. So before I get into this, I want to explain to you why I believe that this is important for all of us to learn how to do, right? At the age of 21, I vividly remember going to the Texas Capitol in Austin and with a group of like 10 people. I went to school to Stephen F. Austin, we people, and we advocated on behalf of the on-body camera bill because at the time, we were still kind of fresh off of the Trayvon Martin case and the Eric Garner case and Sandra Bland, right? No, pardon me, this was prior to Sandra Bland, but Eric Garner. And we thought that there was a need for police to have cameras on their body because a lot of words were getting twisted. And so to see how advocating in the state capitol and in front of my representative turned into law to where now in every state police are required to wear a body camera shows the direct impact that our voice has. And so what is the rep? How do you locate yours? So the Texas House of Representatives is composed of 150 members, and each of them are elected to a 2-year term. This is why it's important to vote, because you vote the person into the seat that represents you, that has the voice that you don't have inside of the big room where changes get made. A member of the House is voted into his or her seat of power by the people for their congressional district. And you can find your congressional district by going to the link below and typing in your zip code. You can also find your senators and your rep via the same method. All right, so how to set up a meeting with your rep. It's simple, actually. So it's all about contacting your legislator's office to set up a meeting. And remember that your representative is a servant of the public. They work for you. It is their job to sit down and to hear out any complaints from their constituents, right? So pro tip, although you may feel like you're not an expert in the field of speaking, especially to politicians, remember that your personal experience is enough expertise, right? So they want to hear real stories. It's not about the language in which you present. It's about the story that you tell and how your life is being affected, or how the life of the people that you see on a day-to-day basis is being affected from a change that can be made based on a vote of your House rep. There are people too. Let them know, like I said, where you would like to see improvement, and propose ideas on how that should happen. Most legislators' websites, include a request for a meeting form that you can fill out online. So once you find your rep via the link on the previous slide, on their website, which you can find, you can send in a request to meet with them in a form. Next slide. All right, so if you send an email, this is some kind of useful pointers that worked for me. I remember my first time seeing an email, and I was told that my email wasn't what it needed to be, i.e. it wasn't professional enough. So these are some tidbits that'll keep you on par with the other emails that they're receiving. So of course, your name and your address to show that you are a constituent of the district in which they represent, the issues in which you would like to address with them, the local office you wish to visit. There'll be times where they might want to meet you in your city, or you might have to go to Austin to meet them in their big office. It depends on if they're in or out of session, honestly. And you can also see what dates they're available to meet. Include several dates in case they're not able to meet the one date that you provide to them. Maybe give them like a 3 to 4 week window. You might want to open up a month of weekends if you're available, or a month worth of Wednesdays or Thursdays if you're available. It's all about creating availability, as much availability for yourself as well for your rep. All right, so here, guys, here's a sample email. Hopefully this slideshow will be sent out to you guys, in which you can take this verbatim and just fill in between the lines the correct information that applies to you and yours, and use this template and share this template with your friends, family, so that way when you organize, you're not only telling them how to organize, you're giving them the template as well. After reaching out, what's next? So you recognize that you might meet with a member of the legislative staff, correct? But sometimes that legislator might not be available, and they all have workers that work for them, and you'll be scheduled to meet with a member of their staff. Every legislator has a team of staffers that answers their phone calls or replies to their emails. However, if your legislator can't meet, you'll meet with them, and it is their job to sit with you, hear you out, and report directly to that legislator what the complaints are of their constituents. And like I said, if you're unhappy with meeting with them, you can make several attempts to meet with the legislator. More than one meeting is always encouraged, because it's like nailing a hammer. You're just driving your point in a little bit more every time you strike. And if you don't feel comfortable, please go on a team. Numbers matter. It also helps you be secure in your message. After you send out that email and hear back from a representative, from a staffer on the legislator's team, follow up with your appointment. The day before a meeting, call your legislator's office to confirm your appointment. Your legislator's office may request a list of those who will be attending the meeting, if there are more attendees than yourself, and just send that information in. It's all about transparency. And it's really not that scary. I know the idea can seem intimidating, but these are regular people just like you and I. Don't be intimidated by the suits, the fancy language. They're here to listen to our problems, regardless of whatever bias they may feel. Next. And after your meeting, be sure to send a thank you letter to your lawmaker and to their staff. Thank them for taking the time. Build a good rapport with them, because of course, if you get in good with your legislators, you kind of have an upper hand. You might get invited to certain events that your legislators hold in your city or at the state capitol. You'll begin to develop a relationship, and that way anytime something is bothering your community, you can be almost a direct link and speak on behalf of the community. Because once again, we are the people that live in our communities, whereas sometimes our reps really don't. They have false addresses and don't stay where they are supposed to stay on record. And so you have that 24/7 hour experience. So if you meet with your legislator, have a successful meeting, tell them thank you, build that good rapport. So that way you can have direct access to them in their office anytime that an issue needs to be brought up on a local or state level. Are there any questions? I think at this point, I'm going to pass it on to my brother, Morgan.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Tevin.
Mhm.
Alrighty, so that was the meeting of the minds. We gave you guys amazing information. I hope a lot of it translated over to you guys, and I hope a lot of it actually opened up some insight for you. You know, it definitely when we actually started this and we came together. You know, Tevin had brought up this that you can actually meet with your legislators, and it blew my mind because I had zero clue. You know, so then we got to talking, and then now we've led to this, but it's always it's enlightening to just meet with a group of cats that all are on the same mission. And I'm just glad that we were able to came together and give you guys this information. So I believe our next step is really to just open the floor to you guys, and I really want to hear some questions. I want to hear if you guys want more information. I did a poll, but I see we got Star's hand raised. So let me go ahead and just click on you. Did you have a question that you wanted to bring to a Star?
More like some feedback and everything. First of all, thank you for inviting me to the meetings of the mind, because I really needed to be here because I didn't know half this information that I learned tonight. Can I relate it back to someone? Yeah, with a little bit of practice and everything like that. I know how to speak to people, and I know other people know how to speak to other people too. So I think all our minds are needed here tonight. You're not here by accident.
100%.
One thing I did learn about the BOB, it's so funny, the Black-owned businesses, I never thought of as Bob before, but basically, I think a lot of Black people have a problem with doing business with each other. It's very sad and ridiculous, but it's because we ourselves, when I say we, I'm speaking for the people, we don't know how to properly invest in ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So when we see another Black-owned business, like, well, why am I giving my money to him? Because, that's your brother, that's your sister or whatever. So we have to kill the stigma of not being able to simply support one another. And this right here, it starts off as a big platform that can grow into more and more cities, because I would like to be a representative for my city too.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
To kind of touch on that, like, I think it's a very good call out. I know just kind of going through a lot of this stuff and learning from like what Willie was saying about like the Black-owned businesses. If you go back and think about the stuff Martin Luther King was saying, Martin Luther King was like he felt like somebody got their microphone on.
We got everybody muted.
It still got feedback.
Yeah, we still got feedback.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it's coming from. Come on. All right, it's better. All right, cool. So the biggest thing I was saying, when it came down to like pre-segregation, right?
One second, we're gonna figure out this issue going on. I think we fixed it. Go ahead, Keon, continue. I'll monitor this.
Cool. So what I was trying to say was If you go back into the segregation days, right, when it was you had black-owned businesses and then you had white-only businesses. The black businesses were all the black dollar and the black businesses were all going to the black business, right? But after segregation ended, people had only been buying black for so long that they wanted to say, hey, what is it like to go to a white-only establishment, right? And so many people started giving all their money to the white-only establishments because they never had that opportunity to, so they always wanted to see, what was it like. And so by doing so, the black businesses started to suffer because now instead of the black people giving their money only to the black businesses, now the profits are being split. So then it became harder and harder for black businesses to thrive. So then you have stuff like Tulsa, Oklahoma, where you have the Black Wall Street, and you have all these black businesses, and then they're bombed, right? And so it kind of put a fear on black businesses where, hey, if I get too big, somebody may try and take me out. So fast forward over the years and over time, now we have a resurgence of black businesses, but there's this stigma of the black businesses, the customer service is bad. They may not be this, they may not be that. And it all goes back to the business acumen or like the business knowledge, right? A lot of people just have a dream and they're just trying to figure it out. And so we have to be able to work with these people and give feedback. So if you don't have a good experience somewhere, sometimes it helps to call them or let them know like, hey, this was my experience. I would love to continue to support you. These are some of the things I saw and as far as how we can do it better. Hey, I'm here to support you. I'm here to bring other people here to kind of boost you up and continue going. As long as they're open and they're willing to make those changes and adjustments, we'll see more black businesses, but we'll also see higher quality coming from those black businesses.
I like that, what you just said and everything. It makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. I really like the fact that in the blueprint of everything that's going on, you said don't be so quick to cancel people out. We have a bad vibe going on here with black people. I mean, where our people just kind of just cancel each other out for the slightest thing instead of providing constructive criticism, not criticism, but constructive advice to maybe revamp it or make the experience better for somebody else. So I think this, like I said, this meeting was well needed. I know a couple of more in tune minds that could perhaps contribute to the movement and what's going on and everything like that, because what I do know for a fact is I may not have all the knowledge. That's fair and everything, and this is what this is for, a place to come and gain knowledge so you can interpret it to the right people, the people that have quote unquote power, you know what I mean? But the power is within the people. Whatever we have going on, we have the rights and the power and the voice to speak up and say, hey, you know what? I think this policy is fascist. I think it needs to change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm just, like I said, I'm really glad to be here, and I just want to keep growing with you guys.
Thank you. And for everyone who doesn't know, we will be doing these every third Wednesday of the month. So we'll have many, many more of these to come. Many, many more. Let me go ahead and get to the next question. I see we got Deborah here. She has her hand raised, so I'm going to go ahead and allow you to talk. And feel free, if you guys have questions but don't want to hop on the mic, enter our Q&A. Instagram Live users, go ahead and type your questions there at the bottom. If there's any concerns that you've heard us talk about that you feel like we didn't talk about, feel free to just go ahead and chime in. We got one here. Let's see. All right, let me check some of this Instagram. Hey.
Hey, it's Lady Technique. I'm so happy I'm able to talk. I know you were going to one person, but I'm in the car right now. I just wanted to say thank you so much for hosting this because it's a lot of valuable information I could take back to my neighborhood. I am currently a member of two forums. Two Facebook forums. One is Blacks in the San Fernando Valley. I've been raised in the San Fernando Valley all my life, and then the other group is Blacks in Santa Clarita. So I see that there's a lot of, people at this moment wanting to work towards change, and just touching on the sister's point and also on the earlier point about canceling one another out. I think another really important piece here is the importance of us sticking together. The whole Willie Lynchism or whatnot, it's been something that has been prevalent for a long time. So we also have to have accountability there as well, in how we can support each other, even in the community. So yes, it's so important for us to support local Black businesses. I am actually a business consultant, so if I do find something that's a little amiss, or if I kind of had like a weird experience, I will be very intentional about how to proceed from there by at least sharing some information if they're willing to hear it. But again, I think what you're doing is awesome, and thank you so much again for hosting this tonight.
Is absolutely no issues, no problem. It was no issue, no problem. We do this so that we can open up the conversation. We do this so, we can bring sort of a new light to our situation. Yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm sorry, I someone just walked in here. I just threw my whole train of thought off. But I forget where I was going. But again, I appreciate you for coming up in here, Lady Technique. It means a lot. It means a lot to get this type of support on our first outing out, And something that we do want to emphasize is, like Star was saying, we don't have all the answers, but we're here to come together and centralize what we need, and centralize for a common goal. We don't need to write off the Black-owned businesses. We don't.
That's right.
The big thing with me is that if there's Black-owned businesses that are operating below the par, if there's Black-owned businesses that are not upping our standards, what are we doing to empower them and give them answers and give them the proper information for them to operate on the scale of some of these white-owned companies? What are we doing to just to empower, to just give them the light that they may not know, may not need? Because like Wille has said, that you're looking at people who are operating on 1, 2, 5-man teams, very small niches, and like just like us, they don't have all the answers. So I feel like if we can go the extra mile to just pass them the baton, or just give them something so that they don't have to make the same mistakes someone on square 2 is making when they really should be on square 10. So
I have a question.
yes, go ahead, Star.
How can we offer our contributions to evolve the movement? Like, for instance,
Absolutely. Reach one, teach one.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
mhm.
well, for starters, it's as simple as just sharing,
Okay.
meeting of the minds, and sharing the organizations
Mhm.
that are moving in our direction. There's one here in Los Angeles. I'll give them a free pub. They're We Are the Movement LA. I've been to a lot of their different rallies, a lot of their different events, and they got something special that they got cultivating. I saw them when they started out, Instagram, 200 followers. Turns out one of my friends was one of the people who was leading the charge, and I met him at a rally. They said literally they met each other a week prior, organized an event, blasted social media, and then started the march. And then what they started doing is to uplift it, is that when they went to their stopping points to kind of just sit and just talk to the people, it wouldn't just be a normal, oh, this is going on. It was more of, all right, well, how do we conduct our change? Where do we need to be? Where do we need to march next to make an impact? We don't need to go to downtown. Everyone's going downtown. Let's go to, I don't know, Hollywood, and stand in this specific spot because this company has already came out and said they do not support Black Lives Matter. I have a lot of respect for people who operate in that way. So, I guess just to get back on track, the main way to push our movement and to push this agenda is to just keep the knowledge and the information circulating. Don't let it stop here. Don't come here and listen to us talk and listen to us give you this information and then not do anything about it.
Right.
Don't share it with a friend. Like we said, we're gonna put all of our Black-owned businesses that we listed here in the PowerPoint. They're gonna go on our Instagram story. Follow our Instagram. We're gonna reach out to the people that are moving like us, and this is how we start the little community. It doesn't have to be blowed out mainstream. We just need to get the word out, because even if it doesn't come from us, Star, it can come from you. Lady Technique, it can come from you, and you can inspire another mind that amasses a following and preaches that word that we centralize here and move it forward. So
one thing I want to touch on, Morgan, just kind of close out in essence of time. Like when we put this together, like we have like no backgrounds in being a politician. We ain't got no backgrounds in being, anything of that nature. No, we're not running for president. I'm not running for Senate. Hell, I'm not running for anything at this point. But we're just people who are tired of seeing the same stuff happen over and over again, and we want to help create a narrative of change, right? My logic on how things work nowadays, I honestly say we haven't had strong leaders since King and X. And the reason why I say this is because when things happened back then, it was the essence of, hey, this happened. I'm going to educate all of my people around me what this means. I'm going to put action plans together on what we can do in order to rectify this situation and create change from this situation. And I'm going to have a list of actions that we can take and move forward with. And as we do those actions, we come back and say, hey, these are the things that we're doing. These are the things that we said. In result, these are the demands that we have. This is the change that we want to see. If that's not something that we're getting, then at that point, we'll take the necessary actions as far as moving forward. So great examples of that would be like the bus boycott, right? When they had the bus boycott, we had the Rosa Parks incident. We had numerous other incidents which led to the bus boycott, and we had action, right? And then based on the actions that we had and the period of time that it led to, then we were able to see change, right? So by doing things like that is how we're going to continue to push the positive and push the change that we want to see in our communities all over. I think that's the biggest key here. That's why we say, what's next, right? Everybody was protesting last month and things like that. But when it came down to what to do next, nobody knew, right? So we're basically putting this together to tell you, hey, these are some things that you can do next. These are not the things everybody's talking about, So it's up to us to educate ourselves and share that knowledge, with our peers. We're open to receiving topics for what to talk about next. And hey, if you know groups that, would like to hear this information, we don't mind sharing and speaking to those people. But it comes from just having conversations like this. You know, a group of 2 or 3 can lead to, you know, speaking to masses of 10, 20, 30, 100, whatever, right? It only takes a second, you know, to go viral, but why not go viral with the right things?
I agree with you.
Absolutely.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, this is beautiful. This is grassroots
Is
activism.
it?
And no, you do not have to be a politician. This is where it starts. So I love that you said that.
So do I. I was just gonna say, with us having more behind the scene meetings like this, it's going to make people wonder, what are the particular group, what are these groups doing next? You know, it's going to build an anticipation, because I'm a strong believer. I may be old school, you know what I'm saying, but don't put everything on social media like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. If you already got something going, when you got a bunch of eyes on you and, you know, ears listening, then go ahead and start with that. For instance, I pledge right now tonight that I'm going to start talking about meetings of the minds on my podcast. I'm going to start telling people, hey, you know, every third Wednesday of the month, we have this great meeting on Zoom, and if you want to be involved, all you have to do is register, blah, 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 blah. You feel me? I just need to know what to say. I'm down for the movement, though.
Thank you.
Support that, sure.
For sure.
The selflessness, that's a lot.
Yeah. Overall, you know, I just want to say thank you to everybody. You know, the idea came literally out of nowhere. You know, Morgan reached out, and he was inspired, and he wanted to create something that he felt like would create a change. And so, like, I'm just happy to be a part of it, and I'm happy to have y'all here to, you know, to witness everything and be a part of it as well. We can't do anything right by ourselves, but if we get the right minds together, then boom, we can do whatever we want to do.
100%.
Yeah, I also just want to kind of piggyback off Keon and just kind of boost the spirit of Mr. Saunders and give you a public congratulations and a thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. I applaud your leadership, your servitude. You have done work above and beyond what was needed, from organizing this to doing the graphics. You took complete reign and control of this, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm happy to be on board, and I thank you for the opportunity. Like my shirt says, grind hard, pray hard, peace and power.
I appreciate the love, but this is a 4-man weave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did my part, and that's all I can ask for. So I appreciate the love, but we got more work to do. You know what I'm saying? How are we gonna feel? You know, 2-3 meetings in.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my head is at. You know, this is great. This is a great first step, but how are we gonna feel? You know, 6 months in. How are we gonna feel around election time when we gotta give information around that?
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm looking at where the climb that we gotta hit. So, you know, this is only the first step. I appreciate all you guys being a part of the stepping stones. You guys will all be remembered.
For sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But unless our panelists, you know, we got something to add, unless you guys got any more questions, I think we got everything. We definitely said our piece.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, was Will performing still, or did we take that part out?
Man, don't do that, right? Don't do that, bro.
You're silly.
Don't do that, bro. We could now that I'm unmuted, just a synopsis. This was great. Let's just continue to hold each other accountable. This was just the first step. And if we understand anything about movement, the first step is always the hardest. The rest, it gets easier as we keep going. And so, again, double salute to Morgan. You took an idea and ran with it. I'm glad me and Key had that conversation, and it sparked this inspiration to create an entire platform surrounded by change that we can continue to grow upon. And so thank you again for having the idea, having me be a part of this. Thank you to all of the attendees. You guys are definitely sparking another fire within us to keep pushing and making this even greater than what it is. And so yeah, this was beautiful. Let's keep going.
I love it. All right, party people. I appreciate everyone coming out. I appreciate everyone taking the time out their day to be in our Zoom call. You know, promotion all. We had people that popped into the Instagram live, but that's done and over with. Y'all got the full experience and the full worth of what we're really trying to bring. And I thank you tremendously for that. Again, we will be back next month, third Wednesday. Let us know how we can improve. Let us know what else you feel like we should benefit. Follow our Instagram at meetingoftheminds.cst. We will be operating on Chicago time, not LA time, not New York time, centralized time, because we need to centralize this information to the people. So let us know. Again, any other questions, you guys need anything from us, if you guys want to learn more about us, follow our
That's how you
Instagram.
tie it together.
Hey, you know. But again, yeah, follow our Instagrams, follow all of our social media. If you guys aren't already, I did a lot of my promotion via my my MailChimp, my email list, the Mixclick. If you guys aren't already, join that. I will be sending out updates. When we update the Instagram, when we do any sort of change, it's going to go there first. It's probably the easiest and fastest way that you're going to get this information outside of just being in here. So again, I thank every single one of y'all, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap it out. I'm gonna leave the chat open. I'm just gonna go on mute, but I'm gonna play some music, and then we're gonna probably end out of here in the next like 8 minutes. So feel free. If you got any more questions that pop in your mind while we sit here, just let them go. Let them go.
I'm going to hop off. I got one more these calls. So I appreciate everybody. Y'all.
To our last attendees, thank you guys so much for coming in today. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Hope you guys all have a blessed night. And yeah, I will catch y'all next month. Follow our Instagram again at Meeting of the Minds, meetingoftheminds.cst, meetingoftheminds.cst. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the chat for you too. Go ahead and follow us. And yeah, just stay up to date. Stay updated to all of our social medias. We're gonna definitely just keep pushing these out. I appreciate every one of y'all, every single one of y'all who came in today. And with that being said, signing off.